Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Thank You for Coming. Right here on 2MB Studios, either on 2MB Studios Facebook, either on their Twitch, or maybe even on their YouTube page. We're watching it in all three places, streaming there. So hopefully you're watching it at one of those places. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming. My name is Mike Carr. I'm your host of this show. And here's the basic premise of what's about to happen. There are two improvisers in our green room right now who have never met. They've never seen each other, never been in the same festival. They've never even been in the same room. And we're going to put them on screen together, and they're going to do an improv scene for the very first time. The first line of dialogue of that scene is going to be, "Thank you for coming." This is just sort of a fun way to get improvisers from all across different places to come together and play. So we're going to do a scene, then we're going to chat a little bit with our two amazing guests, and then we're going to do one more scene with them playing together. Now they know each other a little bit, which is always fun. So I'm going to say to you out in the chat, it's a very interactive show. They're going to do a scene. We're going to get suggestions from you for those scenes. But in the interview portion, we're going to have questions. I have questions that I can ask them, but we'd love to hear from you. So if you have questions for either of the actors, about their scene work, about how they approach doing a scene with someone they don't know, about themselves, about their work, about anything, put it in the chat. We're going to use it and get this conversation going. But first, by accident last week on our very first show, I brought up our actors before I intended to, and I felt terrible about it because I made a mistake. But that mistake, there's no mistakes in improv, and now became part of the show where we're going to bring them out now. They're going to meet each other, then they're going to do the scene. So first, I want to welcome out one of Boston's most delightful professional improvisers. She's an incredible singer, musician, actor. Please welcome Gwen Coburn. Hello, Gwen.
Hello, Mike Carr.
It's good to see you. I'm very glad you're here. Your screen right now to me is your body is on top of, oh, now it's fixed, but your body was on top of the stick figure body, so it almost looked like your head was part of it, which was very cool. Joining Gwen tonight, an improviser, an actor who I've worked with down in Orlando at SAC. He's a performer at the theme parks. He's a talented film and television actor who may or may not have been killed by a very famous clown. Please welcome John Connon.
Hey, everybody. I may or may not have. It's
well, I don't think
my fate was never, sealed.
Yeah. So It Chapter 3, you're coming back.
I'm coming back.
For those who don't know what I'm talking about, he's in It Chapter 2. Watch the movie. If you haven't seen it, it's a great movie, and John's really good in it. He's Pennywise. Anyway, John and Gwen, this is can you both confirm this is the first time you've ever met?
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I've never seen this woman before in my life.
Well, very good. So in the chat, we're going to need a suggestion of a location. It can be a location, inside, outside, anywhere you want this location to be. Throw it in the chat, and that's going to be what kicks off our scene. So John and Gwen, we're going to put you back in the green room. We're going to get our suggestion, and then you're going to do a scene with one of you will say the first line, "Thank you for coming." Then we're going to talk. All right. So the suggestions are coming in. Benny Skir says steamboat. Loaf says a warehouse. Ooh, that's interesting. You know what? Steamboat delights me. So this is going to take place on a steamboat. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming tonight.
Oh.
I appreciate you taking over the steamboat.
I swore I'd never step foot on this steamboat again, but when the steam has to happen and no one else can make it, you knew I would be there.
The river calls to you, Monica.
Her siren song. She knows she'll be the death of me.
That's true. That's true. I hope that death does not come tonight, though.
Trevor, it's only a matter of time. You knew. I've hit 26. My granddaddy, his grandmammy before him, we've all died a young death on these waters.
I know, but I'm hoping to break the curse of your family. That's why I invited you here. That's why I had you here on my steamboat, so that we could break this curse and move down the river together.
Oh, Trev, You've always been such a dreamer, but for all the Ouija boards and seances in the world, you couldn't break the curse. Not the curse of the McTravelroys.
I know it's a powerful curse. I know it's been in your family for centuries. And I know that one seance nearly burned down our entire plantation, which it probably should have.
It probably should have, and it didn't, and that's how you know it's a curse. That's how you know. Trev, it's a beautiful, beautiful thought that we could move down river and have a gentle steamboat in life. Heck, we don't even run a business anymore. It's just for pleasure, but it can never be, Trev. You've got to live. And I gotta move far inland or die in these muddy waters.
I don't want to live, Monica, if living is without you. That should be a song.
That's my favorite song.
That should be a song, if it isn't already.
It is in my heart. Oh, Trev, I can't bring you down with me. I can't do that. You have such a bright, bright future. I look at you and I see you getting out of here. I see you taking up other types of boating, Trev. You could be a kayaker or a pontoon boater. Heck, you could even row one of them little swan boats around. And you'd be safe. And you'd live a happy, happy life for years to come, and your children would play on waterboards. You can't stay
also
here with
something
me.
they probably shouldn't do.
That's true. It sounds weirdly foreboding for something that is such a gentle activity. Just putting a board on water feels wrong.
Monica,
Yes.
Can I tell you something?
Oh, Trev, you might as well. It's a long, long journey.
I've tried every other mode of boating down this river. I've tried the pontoon, and I've only ended up in the cattails, those reedy looking plants.
Yeah, I know what
you know what I'm talking about.
The ones that wave so sweetly?
Mm-hmm. I was going to say cat o' nine tails, but that's something else.
That's a different thing, Trev.
Entirely. Although I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Oh.
Now, I've also tried to pontoon, and that ended in disaster.
Tell me what happened.
My pontoon deflated before I even got off the harbor. I was meant to be in this steamboat, and it was meant to be here with you. Now, I brought with me today a Ouija board. I have.
God damn it, Trev. You are so sweet. Oh, you're like sugar in my tea.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're bad for me, but I just gotta have you.
I'm so bad. I'm so bad for you.
You're so bad. Take out that Ouija board, Trev.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if we both put our hands on it this time. Oh, Trev, now you got me hoping.
I folded it 16 ways for you, darling, so I could fit it in my suit pocket.
Oh, a square number. You are such a romantic.
All right, now let's get that little thing we put our fingers on.
Okay, you're gonna have to put it over here because someone's got to steal the boat.
Ooh.
Oh, I can do it one-handed if you just inch a little closer.
Listen, I will. I'm gonna hold the other side of the wheel, and we're gonna do this together.
You know, my daddy always told me always two hands on the wheel, but maybe this is it. Maybe together we'll break the curse.
One hand, one of your hands plus one of my hands is two hands, darling.
Your people are always so good at math. Oh,
All right.
it's moving. Are you moving it? Are you,
No,
Trev?
no,
Trev,
I'm not
I'm
moving
not.
it. I'm not moving it. No.
I swear I'm not. I swear I'm not. I swear.
Uh-uh.
No,
All
I
right.
would not do such a thing. Oh, it's a
Oh.
it's a W. Oh, we got
we
the
go.
W. Trev,
All
you're
right.
moving it. I swear you're moving.
I'm not, I swear. Oh, it's a A.
Oh, it's an A. Oh,
Mhm.
oh, Trev. Oh, I touched your finger a little bit.
Oh my.
Oh, it's a T.
I thought that was
Trev.
the static electricity, but it's just you.
Oh,
Here we
it's
go.
just
Oh, it's an E.
it's an E. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's slowing down now. It's an R. Oh, water. What do you think it means?
I think it means we need to jump ship, dive into this Mississippi mud, and swim ourselves to freedom from this curse.
Trev, you know that's exactly how my granddaddy and his granddaddy and his grandmammy died.
I know, but if I was there with you, I could save you. Let's do this.
You beautiful steam-powered fool. Give me your hand. I'm going to let go of the wheel.
I'm going to let go too.
On the count of 3.
Here we go. You jump, I jump.
We
1.
jump. 2.
What?
What?
It was a we jump board.
Oh my God, Trev.
Here we go.
It does work in mysterious ways.
Here we go. Grab it. I'm grabbing you.
I'm grabbing.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
There we go. Oh.
Right there.
Right there.
I feel your touch.
Oh.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, Trev.
Oh, this was a terrible idea. This was.
Fantastic! Thank you both. I got to tell you, your character work was getting someone in the chat a little nervous. There was this comment: "Is this a PG stream?" Because they were a little worried that you were going to take it to a little dirty place. You two.
I'm sorry, Vortex. I'm probably the guilty party here.
Only flirting with.
The environment you created, it was definitely it was on a river. You were on the steamboat. It was southern, so it was definitely hot and steamy. Like I can see why they would think that the energy was there. So don't worry. Vortex CDN. We weren't sure where it was going either. That's the thing about improv. You never know where it's going.
Same Vortex.
Yeah. Awesome. So thank you both so much. That was great. Super fun to watch the two of you play together for the first time ever. So I guess the first question I always want to ask in this situation is, you got Vortex is proud of you. You didn't go there. They're proud. Awesome.
Means a lot.
You're welcome, Vortex. So obviously improv is such an interesting art form, but to do it with someone you've never done this with before on a platform like this, what were your thoughts? Let's start with Gwen. Like, what was it like for you getting into the scene?
Oh man, I don't think I had any expectations. I haven't done a lot of like long form, like long scenes via Zoom lately. So it was a lot of kind of like, well, we'll just sort of see. But it's so nice when you're working with someone, they jump right into a character. That's like the kind of thing I love to do. So like immediately, John, I was like, oh, this is so comfortable because you're clearly grounded in like being just a real settled into your character.
Well, I loved that you gave me something physical to look at. So I was like, okay, this is where we are. We're in the cabin, the steering cabin, whatever you call that. You got a hold of the controls. Perfect.
What was it like for you, John? Same kind of question, like just jumping into this. What was it for you?
Yeah, I mean, I was super excited because I haven't done improv in a performance well, that's not even true because I'm doing that long form thing every Sunday night. But
Yeah.
but that's like an hour and a half, and it's all, you know, there's so many other characters involved that I could literally just sit there and listen and interject whenever I feel like it. So, but to have this sort of experience, just us, was super exciting.
Cool. That's a good tease. We're going to talk about that before the show's over, so you can pitch the show, because it is a very cool show. So that I named that scene "The Curse of the McTravelroys." I think that's the name you gave yourself, Gwen, McTravelroy, which was great. I loved that question. Do you find, both of you, do you find that it's harder to play with well, first of all, playing with strangers? What's your feelings on that? Playing with people you've never met before. And it's a two-part question because the second part is pre-COVID versus post-COVID, because we're going to talk about that. So playing with people you never played with before, what are your thoughts surrounding that kind of idea? Because in this,
I'm very open to it. Like, I'm very excited by it because I don't have any preconceived ideas of any, I don't know, backstage drama or any, like, I have no idea like what your level is, or like I have no idea. So I'm just like, awesome, this is going to be super fun. And yeah, I don't know. I thought it was really exciting.
When you jump into it, do you come in with like I'm going to take a mindset of I'm going to be more aggressive in my play, more secondary, more supportive, or do you just kind of go with the flow? And either one of you can answer that question. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I love playing with new people, and particularly online. I think it's been really fun, right? Because there's some things that are more like to think about, but there's a lot less to think about too, right? Like when you're playing with strangers, there's a lot of like kind of physical comfort kind of things and things you need to be aware of. And then like online, there's just a little less of that. And there's a little more like interesting, like, oh, what are you doing with the film? What are you using your space as? How can I do that as well? And I think I tend to like to like hear what someone's going to bring, because that's the exciting thing, right? I'm so bored of my own wheelhouse, and I'm so excited when you give me something to play in whatever you're giving me.
Yeah, same. I did sort of like all day. I was like, thank you for coming. I'm glad that you're here at the funeral. Like I was just like playing these scenarios out in my mind, and I'm like, stop doing that. That like that's not fair to anybody. And I was just like, I don't know what the setting is going to be anyway.
That's an interesting point. Do you find, and because this is very specifically, you're being given the opening line of your scene for this, and you know the reason I chose that line of dialogue is because that literally can be anything. It can go into, well, any line of dialogue can be anything, but like it doesn't necessarily pinpoint you, like you're saying, welcome to the funeral. It doesn't pinpoint you into anything, but it does assume a relationship, I've always found. So coming into this, like when you start scenes, is that do you prefer a more open-ended offer, or do you prefer a real specific offer? Because some improvisers love to come in and go, Mom, we're at the supermarket and we're out of milk, versus something like there's no milk, you know? So your personal approaches on how specific and how direct you like to get when you start a scene. And yeah, as 2MB just said, sorry, if anyone has any questions, please type them in the chat. We'd love to hear from you for any questions that you might have for John or Gwen. Anyway, go ahead, Gwen.
Oh, I love the slow scene, right? And like both types of scenes are great, where you get a lot of info up top and it's fun, or you kind of discover more. I tend to love the like slow burn of an open. So I love like a general opening line that feels like it has relationship in it, but there's so much to kind of unpack in the little details, right? There's so much information in inflection when you say thank you for coming, that you can kind of unpack from that without being like, Mom, we're going to be late to the graduation party. The way my mom talks to me. So I
got to tell her to get to that graduation party.
She's probably watching. Hi, Janine.
How about you, John?
It's funny because I do like to sort of have that patience of like checking out where the scene is going. And I've had those experiences where I've been in a scene and I've had okay, like I've been responding to somebody's offer in my mind, like getting ready to talk, but they keep talking, and then like suddenly I'm like, oh, that's not going to work. And then like I end up changing like 3 different things in my mind before I've even had a chance to speak.
Yeah.
And I think that's super exciting. I actually really love that. But I do, when I'm teaching new students, I'm like, try to get that information out as quickly as possible, or when you can, because I think for new improvisers, it's like everything is cloudy and everything is nebulous when you start a scene. So, and I tell them the more that you can get specific, the more that you can information that you can get out, then the clearer it becomes for you and for the audience.
Yeah, I love that point. If you don't mind me jumping in, I love that point because I think there is like a progression as an improviser that I think has to do a lot with your comfort level on stage and your comfort level with that going slow and trusting you're going to be okay. I do think one of the reasons that like it's totally right that we tell beginning students to be like, just get the information out there, is that they don't have the comfort to sit there and be like, great, this all makes sense and does mean something. I just have to find out what. They just feel scared that they're lost. So you're like, well, I'd rather have you be comfortable, get your sea legs under you. And then as you start to get comfortable, you need less of that because you're like, oh, there already is an environment here. I don't need to put it on.
Yeah, for sure. It's like knowing the rules so that you can break them.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
An analogy I use a lot with students and with cast I've directed is we're teaching you to ride a bike with no hands, and you're just pedaling with one foot and you're also juggling at the same time. But when you're learning, you need to learn how to ride a bike with both hands on the handlebars and pedaling properly. Like, so you need to learn that. Like you said, learn the rules before you can unbreak them. You're both teachers in improv, but you've also both been students of improv. So I think I'm going to ask, there's a 2-part question. What is a note that you frequently give to students? Just like something you're always, it's something you always come back to. Every group of students, you have this note that's like, it comes up organically for students. And you love to share it. That helps share your perspective. And what is a time that you've gotten a note that stayed with you as an improviser, or a piece of, not even a note, but maybe just a piece of feedback or a piece of advice? So think about that, because that's 2 very different questions, but it's the teacher in you and the student in you. What's a piece of advice you give, and maybe something you've received that has shaped your work? Again, out in the chat, I see lots of people. Please feel free to ask some questions. These 2 improvisers are wonderful people. They got information to share. Throw those questions up. So yeah,
I think that the note that I give a lot in class is that specificity. Be specific. The when you're new and you're green and you're learning improv and you're not sure what's happening, the more precise that you can get is helpful to everyone. It's helpful to your scene partner, who is also green and also scared to death, and the more specific that you can get with your choices, I think the better your scene work is going to be.
Cool.
Yeah. I think my note that I feel like I'm constantly saying to students is just like, give it a moment, let that hit you. I think slowing down and like really listening means like letting something affect you, both as an improviser, like what does that affect about the reality of the scene? And then also like as a character, just like giving it time to affect your character. So that's like the one thing that I'm always saying to people is like, just slow down and let that hit you.
One of the things that has stuck with me all these years is actually something that you, Mike Carr, said to me one time.
All right.
Because it's weird to admit this, but I never took improv as a course. I was thrown into improv professionally in the theme parks, and they were like, you have a funny looking face, go be funny. And, you know, so it was like, oh, okay. So I'm like trying to figure this stuff out. And then when you invited me to play at SAC, having that short form sort of structure was foreign to me, but super fun. And one of the things that you had said to me was that I was too eager to lose my choice. Like I made a choice and then something happened in the scene, and so I changed my whole character, like changed my whole thing on stage in the midst of the scene. And one of the things that you said to me was, this is different from sticking to an agenda. But stick with your character choice. Like keep that going, but make it work in the scene instead of throwing everything that you're throwing your initial offer out the window because somebody else said something else. To keep that and make it work. And that's always stuck with me.
Awesome. Well, you're welcome. Julie Pooley, this came up a minute ago, had both of you as teachers. That's really fun. So there's a deep connection.
That's awesome.
All right. So one more question that I'm going to ask, and then we're going to play together. The three of us are going to do a little scene together because I want to, because it's fun to play with people. You're both actors. You're both trained actors. You've worked in theater and film and television. How has that training translated to your improv?
Yeah, I'll go with that a little bit. I think so. I started doing improv as my I was like, I need an outlet. I need a hobby that is fun because acting is work. And then I just kept doing improv. And I think the thing that I found is like great about coming to improv from acting is that like you love the characters that you play, right? I think I learned to love jokes, but I loved characters coming in, right? And I think when you get both, that's what I love to watch. I love to watch people who are, both incredible actors and can craft an incredible joke out of anything. But I think that's been really helpful to me is to like just remember that like when I get lost or concerned or confused or just scared on stage and like to students out there, I'm like, yeah, I still like get panic moments on stage where I'm like, you don't know what's going on. That I love my character and like playing your character is real. So what if you miss the game or the joke, right? You're playing a real grounded character. And I think that's really served me pretty well.
I think being an actor, like starting out as an actor, it's can be very technical, and it can really put you in your head. And because you're analyzing scripts and you're choosing your actions in advance, like of the performance. Like you're going, I'm going to be angry here because I need this from this character, and this is how I'm going to get it. So you analyze all of these things. And what I've noticed on this end, being a teacher, is that when actors come into improv, they cannot let that stuff go. They are very rigid. And so that's what I love about having improv now as part of my tool belt and part of my trade is like, I have that, the actor script analysis stuff as like, that's if I get lost. But if, you got to respond to the material, you got to be loose, because you can plan your reactions all day long, but if so-and-so doesn't give you the appropriate trigger, then you look weird sticking that reaction that isn't warranted.
Yeah.
So you really have to improv really forces you to listen, feel, connect with your scene partners in a way that I don't think they always teach actors.
True.
Mm.
Very cool. All right. Well, let's connect with each other. Let's do a scene. The three of us. So out in the chat, we need a location. Give us a location of where our scene's going to take place, and we will take it. I also love that both weeks on the show so far, the scenes have been in a location, but it's been we're there. We're assuming that we're actually physically there, which I enjoy. I know some scenes are very much on like we're on Zoom or StreamYard for this part, so we're going to play into that, which is fine. But I enjoy that our scenes we're taking place in actual places. I just enjoy that. These are all great suggestions. I got culinary school, Pluto, because Vortex CDM, we almost put you in a very dirty place earlier. We're going to take your suggestion and we're going to the Canadian Rockies. That's a great suggestion.
Dirty.
Oh no! All right, so we'll get started. We're gonna pop everyone out, then we're gonna pop back in, and we'll start our scene.
Don't be nervous.
I'm not, it's really high. We're just really high. We're very high.
Exactly. It's the air. That's what we came here for. The view, the cliffs.
It's a lot higher than we thought it would be, if I'm being honest, you know.
Look.
David's cold, okay? David is cold and wants to go home. I didn't want to out him, David.
No, out me. I want to go back to Banff. I want to go back to Banff. There was a cabin. There's cold Canadian beer, which ironically warms you up. It warms you up. And I want that right now.
You know I cannot show my face in Banff.
I thought it was weird that you made me go in and you made Dolores and I go in and check into the hotel, and you were like, I have to stay on the outskirts of the city. I'm like, well, that's weird. That's just weird. And I didn't put that. Why can't you go to Banff? Why can't you go?
Because I've robbed several maple factories.
What? You've robbed not one, not two, but several maple factories?
Yes.
You didn't think of telling us this before we agreed to go on a joint vacation?
You guys were so excited.
You're the Maple Marauder. You were in all the Canadian. You were in all the Canadian papers. The Maple Marauder hits another. The Maple Marauder's taken one more. You're a monster.
I'm sorry, but I have a condition, and I need maple syrup.
You have a what? Okay. What's your condition?
About it.
Well, we're in Canada. I don't know if HIPAA applies. What's your condition? What is it? Name it.
It's mapleosis.
That sounds fake. It sounds really made up.
It is congenital, and I will not be judged.
Is it
my two best friends?
Okay, well, we were best friends before, but I don't know if I can be friends with someone who steals all the grade A maple syrup in a whole season.
And if we're your best friends,
go ahead.
Sorry, no, sorry, Dolores. I'm real hot right now. I'm just real hot, but not. I'm emotionally hot, physically cold. If we're your best friends, why don't you tell us about your congenital mapleosis? Huh? If we're your best friends, why don't you tell us?
We would have helped you. I have a maple tree in my backyard. We tap every season.
I know. And I should have trusted you with this.
Open your heart, man.
But I have been ostracized for this my entire life. True story.
We would have accepted you.
Yeah.
There's room for everyone in my sugar shack.
Are you being serious?
Well, I am.
Because
listen, we don't judge.
Yeah. Look, man, I've known you both since we were since we were college sophomores, and it was I'd literally die for either one of you. I would literally die for either one of you.
I don't.
But right now, what?
Huh?
You
That's
were
That's
you
a
gonna,
great- I
Did you
like to die.
Kill us?
I was gonna.
Are you gonna murder us and take our sugar shacks?
That's why I brought you up here. I'm sorry you had to find out this way instead of the way that I intended it when you were halfway down the mountain.
what? You were gonna kill us when we were halfway down the mountain?
Well, no, I was gonna. I mean, I was gonna.
Push us down the mountain?
I was gonna push you and then have you assume that you would realize it halfway down the mountain. But you're quick. Maybe you would have realized it right away.
I think Dolores would have realized it real quick. She's very smart and very observant. I think she would have realized maybe a quarter of the way down, which would thwart your plan.
David, you are so kind. I think David would have done something about it, maybe 8 steps down. Would have found like a root or something to grab. You're very handy.
Well, thank you. So I guess this is the end. You're gonna try to kill us now?
Whoa.
Just like you did with all those moose.
Yeah, we know about the moose.
We know about the moose. The Maple Marauder always killed the moose first.
It's because they're very good security guards. You have to take them out first.
You're a monster.
They'll headbutt you into Tamara. Look, I'm not going to kill you now.
Gee, thanks.
You ruined the element of surprise.
So
Fine.
what? We're just gonna freeze up here? What happens now? Well, we can't go back to normal.
Yeah, we know too much, man. And we paid for a hotel room in Banff. That's not cheap. It's a very expensive resort, and you can't even go there.
Especially during maple season. The crowds are big. The prices get hiked.
Look, I'm just gonna set you two free, okay? I can't handle the guilt of being this Maple Marauder moose murderer that I've been my whole life.
Wait, your whole life?
Started when I was 2.
You killed a moose when you were 2?
Accidentally, but I liked it.
Oh my God, you're a sociopath.
You're a sociopath. But I still don't want you to go.
I'm taking a dive. You can have all the maple syrup. This maple, the maple.
No, we don't want it because that will implicate us in a crime. We don't want the maple syrup.
Mm-hmm.
If you show up with grade A maple syrup anywhere now, they're going to arrest you straight off the bat.
Yeah. Another part of my plot.
You son of a...
Oh, this was so stupid fun.
What a weird scene. Vortex DCN, I hope that was enjoyable for you. We took the Canadian Rockies, and I believe, if I'm correct, Banff is in the Canadian Rockies. If I remember my there's room for everyone in my sugar shack. Oh, Gwen.
So great. What a great line.
Oh, wow. We tap every season. That was another one.
Every season.
Oh, fantastic. So much fun to play with you both. Any parting words for our audiences? So, John, real quick, tell us about the show that you were talking about. I believe it's called Joe's NYC, if I'm correct.
Yes, Joe's NYC Bar. We do it on Zoom. It's actually starting now.
Yeah, there's a music act starting at 7:40.
Our music act. It is a long form improvised experience. You can participate as much as you would like. I can put the invite maybe in the comments.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Put it up there.
I can do.
Well, I'm fine with it. If Matt gets mad at me, he'll yell at me later. It's fine.
It is free. It's free. It's just, you know, if you want to tip, you can tip. If you don't want to, if you just want to sit and watch the show.
And you all play, you and the regular cast all play the same character every episode of Joe's, right?
Yes.
And
I've been playing this guy for 20 years.
Yep. And the audience comes in and interacts with you. When it was done in person, I saw it several times in Orlando, and it's super fun. Coming into an actual bar, sitting down, having some drinks, and interacting with these characters, and the show kind of unfolds around you. All improvised, based on literally whatever you guys are feeling, right? Like there's no.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of start the show with a little sort of call it softball offer, and just get people talking, get people commenting about it, and then usually whatever is on people's minds is what we craft the show around.
Yeah.
And it's a blast. It can be really funny, it can be really moving, and it kind of runs the gamut of emotional reactions. So let me see if I can find the link, and I'll invite everybody.
Great. And Gwen, I know you're working on lots of stuff right now. What's something that's coming up for you?
I am. Well, earlier today we did the Great Baking Bash, which we do monthly. So that's really fun. And we've got a couple other things coming out soon. A fun podcast about voice impressions. Lots of cool stuff coming out. And I also write some silly little songs and post them. If you're interested in that, follow me at Sad Girl Songs Gwen, with no vowel in girl, GRL, on Twitter and Insta. And I'll sing some dumb things.
Nice. And you're also working with Julie and doing Gwen and Julie comedy. And you have a couple podcasts you're working on there too, if I'm correct.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with Julie on Gwen and Julie comedy, that's where we're doing a couple podcasts. One of which is this voices impressions, which we get really cool guests on who do different work in the arts. And then we pick a famous artist voice. None of us are vocal impressionists. We bring on myself and another friend who we both have masters in pedagogy, and we all talk with the guest and Julie. And then at the end of this, we try to do our very first impression of whoever the singer is we're imitating.
Oh, so fun. That's going to be a lot of fun to listen to. So please keep the world aware, because we're definitely going to check that out when that comes out. Awesome. So we're reaching the end of the show. At the end of the show, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to scoop. Oh, Joe. Yep. John put the invite in the Facebook comments. But I think if you search for Joe's NYC on Facebook, it will come up as well, right? Is that correct, or am I making that up?
No, you need the link, and that's the link. And if you're on the comments, just hit the link, and there
we go. Very good. So every week I scoop who's going to be on next week's show. Next week, I'm very excited. I'm very excited every week because it's all fun people. But next week from Atlanta, from Dad's Garage Theater, we have Kevin Galise, who has also performed up in Rapid Fire Theater in Edmonton, has been a working actor for years and a great improviser. And he's going to be joined by Michelle Nussey. Michelle Nussey is an LA-based improviser from Australia. So we're going to have a little bit of an international connection in this next show. But that's next Sunday at 7 o'clock. If you want to find out more about everything happening on 2MB Studios, smash that subscribe button down on the bottom. Always wanted to say that like I'm a YouTuber. Smash that subscribe button. But subscribe to 2MB Studios. Check out all the awesome shows they're doing. I won't see you in the morning, but you'll see Hello World in the morning. I'll be behind the scenes. And you'll see lots of great shows coming up this week. Other than that, Gwen and John, and everyone else in the audience, thank you for coming.
Yay!